All right, everyone. Welcome to First Track Day Tips Part 2. And I'm also going to kind of amend this to early track day tips as well. And I'll kind of clarify what applies to early track days. And some of this information really should apply to all track days. So we're going to do 3 tips again, just like Part 1. Again, these are in no particular order. It's just kind of how they come to me, and I don't write a script or anything. I just kind of make up formulate my thoughts on the fly. So, first tip for this one is going to be: don't go crazy spending tons and tons of money for your first track day. So, those of you who don't know me, it may look like I went crazy and I spent all this money on this beautiful Ducati and high quality gear and a decent trailer and all that stuff right out the gate. That's not necessarily the case. I started track days in my teens, and in those days, every track day I did was hand-me-down or borrowed leathers from my dad. It was on my street bike, which was my only mode of transportation at the time, with DOT takeoffs from my dad, using his trailer, all that stuff. So start cheap and make sure this is actually something you want to invest money in before you go down that road. I kind of view this hobby as actually relatively affordable once you make the initial investment. The initial investment in leathers, bike, trailer, all that stuff is extremely high. It is a very expensive hobby to get into. So my recommendation is, first time going to the track, take what bike you have. I would even recommend, if you don't have access to cheap leathers or whatever, renting them at the track if that's available. Our local track in Florida, Jennings, does offer leather rentals. I would rent a U-Haul motorcycle trailer if you don't have a pickup truck. If you have a truck, try to get the bike in the back of the truck. Start as cheap as possible. It's not very common, but there are people out there who go to the track and they just decide it's not for them. Sorry, I had an alarm going off there. So you don't want to go spend all this money just to get out there and find out, for whatever reason, track riding is not for you. So my recommendation, or tip 1 today, is just start cheap. Make sure this is something you want to do and make the investment in, and then go from there. Tip 2 today is, and this applies for every time you go to the track, is going to be to have a plan. So for your first track day, honestly, that plan should be: don't fall off and try to start learning the lines. Don't start worrying about throttle application or brake markers or anything like that on your first track day. Really, it's just get a flow for the lines, get a flow and an understanding of your bike, and don't fall off. That should be kind of your baseline goal to start. As things develop, and as you develop as a rider, or at least a track rider, you will start to pinpoint what it is that you need to work on. So like my last track weekend in May, my goal was to work on relaxing my outside foot. So that means if you're in a right-hand corner, relaxing my left foot. I put too much pressure on the outside, whereas really, if you watch, say, Aaron Canet in Moto 2, half the time he's floating his outside foot in the air. You'll see Pecco Bagnaia doing that as well sometimes. So I was focusing on taking that pressure off my outside foot, which reduces strain, reduces risk of cramping, fatigue, all of that. But as you start to ride on the track more, your goals will develop over time, and it can be something different every weekend. It can be the same thing 5 weekends in a row if you still need to improve on it. So a big thing that all the top guys do, I believe Yamaha Champion Racing School even promotes this, is to have a goal, have a focus, have something that you're working on, even if it's as simple as not falling off. Tip number 3 for this video, which really should apply to all track days, is be patient. Be patient with yourself and your progress. Be patient with the riders around you. Don't rush passes, don't stuff people, stay consistent. It's very quickly evident to people with experience when someone is rushing themselves or everyone around them, and people remember you too. Last year I did 5 weekends, and in the last weekend there was a guy there that I recognized from from a few months before. I told my buddies to keep an eye out for him because he was impatient, inconsistent, and reckless, and sure enough, second session of the day, he crashed the bike, packed up, and went home. So you don't want to end up with that reputation as someone who stuffs people, who passes where you're not supposed to pass. You know, listen to the track organization. For example, at Jennings, you can't pass in turn 2 or turn 12. Depending on the day, sometimes you can in expert, but typically they just say don't bother at all because it's just a track day, not a race. You don't want to be that guy who starts passing people in turn 2 and turn 12. If you do it badly enough, you'll get reported and you can get removed from the track for the rest of the day. So you don't want to be that guy. You know, it's a track day, it is not a race. Be patient, and kind of tying back into what we talked about earlier, is the primary goal is to go home in one piece. So rushing a pass on someone isn't going to get you anywhere. So just take your time, enjoy the track, enjoy your bike, and as far as self-improvement goes, that will come with time. You know, John is a much quicker rider than me, and he had an accident not even on his bike and lost some time that, as far as I know, he hasn't found again yet, but I'm sure he will this year. And he's not out there rushing, he's not out there upset that he's not going as quick as he was. It takes time, and your skills and track comfort and everything will progress with time. Very few people get out there and start really flying, you know, right away. Even when you look at these pro kids, if you actually like go back through their photos and stuff, there's like 2 years of track days and a lot of track days and club racing and stuff before they got there. And those are people with incredible natural talent as well. So just take your time, ride your ride. Don't waste your money crashing bikes, destroying leathers, destroying helmets, and it will come to you with time. So stay patient. So that's going to wrap it up for this video. I hope you're enjoying these tips. If you have any questions, any comments about anything else that you'd like John or I to weigh in on, definitely let us know. We do a pretty good job of reading and often replying to every comment we get on our videos, so don't hesitate to reach out that way. We do pay attention to that, and we will get back to you. So thank you as always for watching, and we'll see you next time.